changed myself so you would stay. No, still loved you like nobody else. It was the first time I could love myself and give it to you, give it all to you. Now I'm looking through.
I'm Gray, and I'm a film director at University School. My two most recent films were filmed last summer, and one is a music video for a girl from Amsterdam, and it's about her most recent song.
Deal with a child like this. Still no reason that you acted so salty. Like Mr. Got It all, has it all, now has it all.
The other is a horror film that's only filmed in one location, and it's a dorm.
How many festivals have you gotten into and where?
I've gotten into 16 film festivals all over the world, including India, Italy, Chile, and Los Angeles.
How many have you won?
I've won 5 film festivals. My most exciting win was probably the Los Angeles Film Awards, and I was very happy and shocked when I got the news.
And what's next for you in film?
What's next? I have plans for a big production that's going to come up soon. I'm working with my crew and setting up the story and everything right now. I'm also doing some football mixtapes for some of the players on the team. So if anyone wants any sports mixtapes or anything, just come to the film crew and we'll be happy to get one done for you. I think that students should come to University School in order to film because we have a great program and it's going to be one of the top film programs in the world.
Straight pulling it's not gonna work.
Now, guys, don't make it look too easy because we don't want them to.
Are you recording?
Give a bit of a show. So I have a problem, and the problem is I'm just too weak to open it. So maybe one of you nice gentlemen can look at it.
Who wants to go out first? Hey, Taj? Go.
Come on.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm ready.
You guys are like you're playing for a position.
Wait, can I turn my down?
Y'all got it.
Oh, it's
I
coming
don't
up.
really want to see somebody do it except
So a lot of people were asking me, so what holds the Magdeburg chemistry together? And, what kind of glue? Is there a switch? And I'm just explaining, no, there's no switch, there's no glue. What's holding it together is it's being pressed together. It's the force is the air.
Well, if you think about the Earth, right? The Earth is a sphere, and it's got this thin layer of atmosphere.
Right.
And if you take a square inch, which is about that big, and you just go all the way up as far as you can, 30 miles up to where the atmosphere starts to run out, the weight of all that air pushing down on that square inch is 14 pounds.
All that air that we're talking about pushing in and holding it. And if you want to open it, it's the air is holding it closed. You have to pull out. Now, what amazed me is that the first 2 boys managed to pull it apart almost immediately.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh! Hey, Marcus, don't worry, you weakened it, buddy.
I think, and I don't know the physics part, maybe you can help me with this, but those boys were probably close to 300 pounds each. And they were leaning back. So if they're leaning back with 300 pounds of force, they have to be exerting each another, 700 pounds of force?
Yeah, roughly the net force is probably about 700 pounds.
How are they going to do that? I mean,
but it also, you talked about the physics. The physics is the change of momentum is the force times the amount of time. So if they do it really fast, you end up getting a bigger change of momentum than if you just try and pull something slowly. Basic physics of it is that you've got no air at all in there and all that air pushing on either side, and so you have to overcome that. And
right.
Yeah, if you can do that fast, then you can maybe get you only need a little crack, right? Because then the air will rush in.
Right.
So you just need to get a little gap, And, you know, and think of the two halves. If they're not perfectly lined up, then you've got one weak point there just waiting to go.
But as soon as you open it up, you get some air in. The air is now working with you instead of against you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much.
On behalf of the football team, thank you, Ms. Goodman, for always being good to us.
I got the cheese. Is it a picture or a video? Video.
All right.
I love chemistry.
Well, hi, this has been Mr. Leap, and
Mrs. Goodman.
we've had a little science talk. And if you have a question, then go ahead, send it in, and we'll get it on the Shark News.
We can't say we'll always be right, but we will be interesting.
Yeah.
La gloria d'adorarvi, voglio amarvi, o luccicare.
I started becoming involved in music when I was like 7 years old. I was introduced to piano and I started taking lessons with some teachers. As I grew into it and as I practiced more and got better, I began to love it more and more, and now I can't stop doing it. And I got involved in voice shortly after that. I was singing just stuff you'd hear on the radio. But when I got to kind of the end of like middle school and high school, I got introduced to classical voice and, operatic singing and stuff like that. And ever since then, it's just been a passion of mine to do. I realized I had a passion for music the first time I ever went to Allstate for choir, which was my 10th grade year. And just going there and performing with the choir was like an amazing experience, but then sitting back and listening to the other choirs perform and being like surrounded by that music for just that weekend, it was really, really changing. For me, my mentors for music have to be Mr. Gress, the vocal director at the school, the choir director, and Miss Baumgartner. She also gives me piano lessons, and both of them have just been like people that I've looked up to for a long time, and people that I kind of work to not so much impress, but just make proud. I think part of music is like finding a way to sound like yourself and like develop your own style. And if you're working to sound like somebody else, whether you're like playing an instrument or just singing, it's not personal to you. But I admire so many people in the music world, both like classical and popular music. I'd like to get my degree in vocal performance and music education and, try my chances out in the world of performing and see how I do, directing like a choir or some place where I can like teach people how to like express themselves. But I want to give people like the tools so that they can work their way to where they want to be and, make the music that they want to make.
What's up?
I'm here with Tori Jett, state finalist. How do you feel about this?
I feel great. I'm very excited. I've prepared and I'm ready.
Golf's a hard game and, it hits you with a lot of ups and downs. What's really helped you persevere?
My coaches, my friends, talking to my fellow golfers such as you and Gabe and the rest of my team.
Yeah.
And you guys have really helped me.
We have one food for the rest of your life. What is it?
Steak.
Big facts. Big facts. Big facts.
Primary choice right there.
Skirt steak.
Skirt steak? You got a chimichurri sauce on it?
Yes, that's what I'm having tonight.
That's it.
Hey!
Where are we? This is video. Stop. Okay, let me do a camera. Wait, you want to tell us where we are?
We're in Florida.
We're live.
In Duncan's Florida Garden.
The Duncan's
With the
Florida Garden. And what did you find here?
We have a caterpillar.
It's a
Another caterpillar.
It's raising.
Another caterpillar.
Raising.
Another caterpillar.
caterpillars. You heard of Raising the Arizona? This is Raising the Caterpillar Farm. Very successful caterpillar raising, right?
Yes.
My love for butterflies was really inspired by just seeing them, planting plants for them to come to my garden, because for as long as I can remember, just seeing these different types of butterflies that Florida has come to my garden at my house was just amazing.
They're letting their wings dry from after emerging from their chrysalis. There's another chrysalis right here.
The main obstacle for building this butterfly garden was trying to figure out what the right plants would be for the garden, because we wanted to make sure that we were attracting the right type of butterflies to our garden that were in the area. And another main obstacle was like making the butterfly enclosure as well as the boxes fit into the parameters that was given to me by both University School and NSU. One main thing that really makes butterflies overall to be completely like so cool is just the metamorphosis that they go through and their different life stages. Every butterfly really has like egg, caterpillar, chrysalis, then butterfly, but for every different species they always look different. So the monarch caterpillar is going to look different from, say, like the zebra caterpillar or a giant swallowtail caterpillar.
Oh my God, is it an Atala? I mean, these were almost wiped out. That little butterfly was almost extinct.
Morning Sharks, I'm Julia Musso from WTV, reporting from the Nova Southeastern University Huizenga building, an early voting site where students, teachers, and the general public can go ahead and cast their vote for the 2018 midterm elections. Voting here will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. from now till November 4th, so make sure to go ahead and cast your vote. I'm here with Mosby, Andrea, and Conchetta here to ask them a couple questions. So if you guys had one thing to say to young voters out there, what would it be?
Get out there and vote. You may not know the information. That just gives you an opportunity to do the research yourself.
Yeah, definitely go out and vote. You can make a difference.
Your vote matters. Make sure that you make an educated vote today. Like Mosby said, do the research. There's tons of bipartisan research out there for you. So get out there, go vote midterm elections before Tuesday.
Thank you guys so much. I'm here with Kylie from Nova Southeastern University, here to ask her a couple questions. If there was one thing you had to say to young voters out there, what would it be?
I would just say that to young voters that your vote really matters, even though you don't think that it does. You're only one person. It really is important for the community to have your voice heard.
I'm here with Ellie and Eva, here to ask them a couple questions. If there was one thing that you could say to people voting right now, what would you say?
Probably that once you're voting, just make sure that it's in everyone's best interest and not just your own.
Awesome, thank you. And do you trust the adults today to make decisions about our government?
No, just because you're an adult doesn't mean that you are automatically smart. So you need to think about your decisions before you make them and think about other people.
Hi, U-School. I'm Julia Musso for WTV, here with Anthony and Max. So I have a couple questions for you guys. If there was one thing you could say to people voting out there since you guys can't vote yet, what would it be?
Do it. It's the most important thing that you can do for our country at this point.
That was my line.
Perfect. Also, do you guys trust adults today to make decisions about our government?
Be the adult to make the decisions about your government. That's all I have to say.
Voting is a privilege and a responsibility that we have as members of our community. You want your voice to be heard, right? I know I do. Signing off. This is Julia Musso for WUTV.
Here, there are some young broadcasters in Broward County vying for our jobs.
And you heard right. I got to meet those kids today. NSU University School invited me out to their new broadcast studio for WUTV to give the students some on-air tips. And here are the upper school broadcasters, the whole gang of them. And here are the middle school broadcasters, along with head of school, Dr. Bill Kopis. They are hitting the air next week, WUTV. Remember, guys, big energy. Good luck. Go get them.
Congratulations to them.
In the huddle, before you passed to Chris, what did you tell him?
Oh, before the play, I told Chris if they leave you one-on-one and there's nobody playing over the top of you, I'm just going to run and I got you. I'm going to throw you the ball and score a touchdown.
When coming out of the huddle, you knew the ball was going to go to you. How did you feel about the corner and how he played throughout the game?
Well, the game plan really was to just bake their corners, and that's exactly what we did. Coming out of the huddle, Nick told me, like, just be ready for it, and I'm always ready. So I ran my route, saw the ball in the air, and I went to go get it, and touchdown. Boom.
Audiato's pass was complete to number 9, Christian Wells.
Touchdown. Boom.